Hi everybody, welcome back on Study Room, and today we are going to read about this chapter which is very interesting in itself, that is manufacturing industries. Alright? Very nice. So you see, now the question is, what is manufacturing? So, production of goods in large quantities after processing from raw materials to more valuable product is called manufacturing. Like paper is manufactured from wood, sugar is manufactured from sugarcane, iron and steel from iron ore, and aluminium from bauxite. Alright? So now we are moving to importance of manufacturing. Manufacturing industry is not only help in modernizing agriculture, which forms the backbone of our economy, but they also help reduce the heavy dependence of people on agricultural income by providing them jobs in secondary and tertiary sectors. Industrial development is a precondition for eradication of unemployment and poverty from a country. Export of manufactured goods expand trade and commerce, all right, and brings in much needed foreign exchange. Countries that transform their raw material into a wide variety of finished goods of a higher values are prosperous. So now this is the flow chart how you could show easily that what is the significance of manufacturing. All right. So we have increase in the GDP. You can modernize agriculture as well. Trade and commerce would make you prosperous, and eradication means removal of unemployment and poverty. Then comes agriculture and industry. Agriculture provides a base for several industries, but industry also have also given a major boost to agriculture by rising its productivity. So, agriculture depend on the latter for raw materials and sell their products such as irrigation pumps, fertilizers, pesticides, plastics, alright, PVC pipes, machines, tools, and whatnot. So the development and competitiveness of manufacturing industry have not only assisted agriculturists in increasing their production but also made the production very efficient. All right. So contribution of industry to national economy stagnated at 17% of GDP out of a total of 27% of the industry, which includes 10% for mining, quarrying, electricity, and gas. Stagnated means it's stopped or it is paused. Paused is the correct word here. Paused at 17%. Alright, so since 2003, manufacturing is once again growing at the rate of 9 to 10% per annum. With appropriate policy interventions, what would happen? The government and renewed efforts by the industry to improve productivity. Economists predict that manufacturing can achieve its target over the next decade. So the National Manufacturing Competitive Council, that is called National NMCC, National Manufacturing, you can write it down here, Competitive Council has been set up with this objective. So you can see here, the trend of growth rate in manufacturing was around 7% per annum, and since 2003 has been around 9 to 10%. Industrial location. So, after an industrial activity starts, urbanization follows. Thus, industrialization and urbanization go hand in hand. Many industries tend to come together to make use of the advantages offered by the urban center known as agglomeration economies. What are agglomeration economies? These are the urban center developed where industries come together, okay, and they use it to their optimum utilization, and they take advantage of it. So gradually a large industrial agglomeration takes place. Agglomeration is like collection. So collection of people, collection of industries, they come together, set up. So there is an agglomeration of industries. So industrial locations are influenced, they are largely influenced. That is a basic. This is an advanced understanding of industrial location. But what is the basic understanding is availability of raw material, like paucity of labor. Paucity of labor means that labor are in close proximity, or they can be contacted because they are not too far away and they're very close, so they can be contacted anytime at need. Then comes your capital. Capital can be money, can be anything, human capital as well as social capital, power, and this thing, money only. Capital here, money it is. So you understand, all right. There is an ideal location of an industry. So ideal location depends on what? Cost of obtaining raw materials at site. So cost of obtaining raw materials at site should be less. Cost of production at site less. Okay, so you keep these things in mind, that the cost of obtaining raw materials at site should be less, then only you will live there. All right. Cost of distribution of product, for you distributing, you are, these are the inputs here, and because these are the costs incurred by the industry, so it should be less, and profit would be more. Then what would happen? Like the cost is less and what you are getting is more. So cost minus selling, or selling minus cost, is your profit. All right. So decision to locate factory at site. So factory is also nearby only, would be really helpful. Then comes your cost of production at site should be minimum. All right. And then there is industry market linkage. So they all should be, industry as well as market should be in close linkages. So you see what happens is inputs are raw materials and factors of production. These are the inputs by an industry. All these raw materials, factors of production should be applied to their product. Then this should be transported to the factory. Factory does the processing, and it would create what? Output products. Then this would take transportation cost. You have to incur transportation cost. Then it would reach the market, and then the money would be made, and the money would be given to the owner, and he will distribute amongst themselves and uh, to the partners of the company as well as the workers, and the labor force over there as their salary and all. So these are the inputs. This is the whole linkage we are studying over here. All right. Then there is classification of industries. So industries, okay. So yeah, industries may be agro-based, means agricultural based. That is agriculture, you can say. Mineral based, marine based, like marine is like sea, related to sea, oceans and all. And forest based, depending on the type of raw materials they use. So it is what kind of raw material they are using. Example, food processing, vegetable oil, cotton textile, dairy products and leather industries. So they are agro based only. All right. So agro-based industries, example, food processing. Mineral-based industries like iron and steel. Then base classification based on their main role, what activity they perform. Basic or key industries like iron and steel, because iron and steel forms the basis of all other industry, because all other industry would need iron and steel as a raw material. So that is why they are called as basic industries. All right. So basic industries, there is certain definition attached to it, that is which supply their product as raw materials to manufacture other goods. All right. And the consumer industries is like what we get as a final product. So consumer industries are that industries that produce goods for direct uses for the customers, like paper, toothpaste, sewing machines, fans, etc. and whatnot. Then your classification based on capital investment, small scale, when a small investment is needed. Large scale, large technologies, large land is used, large technology is used, and all of that. Then there is a classification based on ownership, where the private sector is the owner of it. It is a private firm. Public sector would be your state, that is government owned. Sometimes joint sector also occurs. All right. And there is cooperative sectors. People, joint sectors, public and private both are coming together. Cooperative sectors is a number of individuals collaborated with each other. So that would be a number of private firms are together and working on their own. So that is a cooperative sectors. All right. Then is a classification based on weight of raw materials. So raw materials weight would be assessed here. Is it heavy industries? If it has iron and steel. Alright, so their raw material is very heavy. You can see how heavy it is. But light industries are what? Like electrical good industries. So their raw material would be very, very small in size. Or size here refers to weight. Alright. So this is an activity where you have to tell that classify the following in two groups on the basis of bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods. All right. So brassware. It would be a heavy industries. All right. Knitting needles would be small industries. Oil oil would be heavy industries, because you have to have all the very large equipments to extract oil. So this would be heavy industries. Sewing machines would be small industries. Shipbuilding would be heavy industries. Electric bulbs, small industries. So it was a very small activity that gave you an idea how would you classify bulk and weight of raw materials and their finished goods. All right. Then comes our types of industries. So now we are talking about agro-based industries. So industries where raw materials come from agriculture are called agro-based industries. For example, cotton, textile and tea factory. So these are agriculture-based, organic-based, you can say. Textile industries. So value addition in the textile industry, what happens? Like there is a chain, food production industries, then the cloth would go fiber production. So firstly fiber to fabric, you have all been studying it in class 6th only, and you have all the idea about it. So firstly there is a fiber, like small third yarn or thread. Then it would go for spinning, then it would go for weaving and knitting, then it would be dyed into colors and furnishing would be done, then your garment would be manufactured. Then okay, then your that is a least product. So it was acha. This flow chart shows you fiber production. What happened? That it was a raw fiber. Spinning is done. They are converted into yarn, a thread. All right. Then weaving and knitting is done. So your that was raw fiber. Now it became fiber, and now because of dyeing, color added and all, and then your garment manufacture is accomplished or it is completed. Value addition in the textile industry. So in this way, value addition to a certain product is done. Some value addition is done through spinning, some through weaving, some through dyeing, and then the final product is your garment manufacture. Then is your textile industry. So the textile industry contributes significance to industrial production and employment generation. All right, and so and what? And foreign exchange earnings. All right, so it is the only industry in the country which is self-reliant and complete in its value chain, from raw materials to highest value added project products. So these are self-sufficient. All right, all other industries, some basic products like they need iron and steel and all, but clothes don't need it. Yeah. So this is a cotton textile. So in the early years, the cotton textile industry was concentrated in a cotton growing belt, which was in Maharashtra and Gujarat. And availability of raw materials, a market, transport, including accessibility port, facilities, labor, moist climate, etc., contributed towards its localization. So it was initially localized to only these two regions. So in ancient India, cotton textiles were produced with hand spin. You can see how this lady is doing that. And hand looms, weaving techniques. After the 18th century, power looms. So like they use electricity for looming purposes. Came into use and suffered a setback during the colonial period. But it has a drawback which it suffered from during when we were not free. Alright. So why only Maharashtra and Gujarat? Because raw cottons are abundant, they are in huge number and cheap. Suitable climate conditions are there. Checked, well developed transportation checked. Proximity means they are not very far away, they are very close to the market. Checked. All right. Problems faced by the weaving sector, that is the concern here. Power supply is erratic. It's not always you will have the electricity. Sometimes the bulb just goes off, or like the machine would be switched off because there is no electricity. Old machinery, you can see how old it is. Low output of labor. More people are employed, but output is very low. Stiff competition with the synthetic fiber industry because people are preferring to synthetic products also, which are cheap at times. So now there is question. Why is it important for a country to keep the mill sector looming lower than power loom and hand loom? Why? Why power loom and hand loom should be above and hand loom than mill sector? This is and. It's because rural people, to make rural people, because these practices are power loom and hand loom are done by rural people. All right. So to make the rural people self-sufficient and financial freedom, that is why this thing is given priority. Power loom and hand loom is given priority. All right. Then comes our jute textiles. It is a golden fiber. You all know jute is known as golden fiber. So India is the largest producer of raw jute and jute goods and stands in second place as an exporter after Bangladesh. Okay, first one is Bangladesh here. Most of the mills are located in West Bengal, mainly along the banks of Hooghly River. You know, Hooghly River is very famous river of West Bengal in a narrow belt. So challenges faced by the industry include stiff competition in the international market. This industry also faces certain challenges, that of international market. So from synthetic substitutes and other competitors like Bangladesh, you have Brazil and Philippines, Egypt and Thailand. So they have some synthetic stuff, synthetic substitute of it, and that is why we have a stiff competition in jute textile. So why are jute mills in the Hooghly Basin? Proximity, that is nearness to jute producing areas, inexpensive water transport because near the river, and a network of railways, roadways, waterways, abundant water for processing raw jute, cheap labor, banking, insurance, and port facilities for the export of jute goods. So someone is providing you insurance, that is very nice. And then there is a distribution of cotton, woolen, and silk industries. So you can just pause and can take a picture of it also. The cotton industry was concentrated in Gujarat and Maharashtra, but it expanded all over the country gradually. So we have red in cotton. So now it is produced in Gurgaon, Panipat, Amritsar, Ludhiana, Bikaner, Kanpur, and all. Silk textiles, you can see Srinagar, Barmula, all these Anantang. Then cotton textiles are all we have I was talking about the woolen textiles, but cotton textiles are also there in Agra, Shahjahanpur, and Kanpur also. Mirzapur is woolen textiles. So these are the textiles you need to know about, and you should be keeping few major cities in mind, and that should be your capitals as well as some peculiar you can like Mumbai, Coimbatore. These are the things you should remember. All right, Madurai it is. All right. Now we have sugar industry. You can see how we stand second as a world producer of sugar, but it is a leading producer of gur and khansari. Sugar cane is grown in alluvial black soil belts. You see, that is why we are the second world producer. All right. All right. Moving forward. Now we have a question here. The sugar industry is seasonal, so it is ideally suited to cooperative sector. Can you explain why? So why is your main question? Actually, here in this sugar industries, both farmer and owners, both farmer and owner can work, owner of what? Mill, sugarcane mill, work together with each other for benefit of one another. So that is the exact explanation to this question. If they'll work together, they'll be beneficial. Otherwise, both have to face some consequences of the seasonal nature of their industry. All right. And then there is challenges in sugar industry. Seasonal nature, of course, it is a challenge, but we have to try to tackle it. Old and inefficient methods of production. There is not much new technology coming in. Transport delays between field and factories. There are sometimes not in proximity, and the need to maximize the uses of bagasse and all that. There is some different pronunciation to it, but it is very important to remember this point. It is very important. Now we'll meet again in the next video. Today we have covered a very vast variety of industries in agriculture base, and we have done cotton, sugarcane, jute, and all the industries and the raw materials as well, and how to classify heavy industries and small industries, light industries, large scale industries. So various industries we have learned about, and this is all you need to know about your manufacturing industries. Part 1, that is agriculture based industries. We have clearly covered it, and you can also re-watch the video for further conceptual clarity. We'll meet again in the next video. Till then, revise the chapter thoroughly and stay safe, stay healthy. Bye all of you.